If you're getting here now, I am Clay Souza. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and you are at 808 with Clay at Clay Souza Official in Instagram. 808 with Clay. We go live every Monday and Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about photography. We talk about flash, we talk about lighting, overall, we talk about composition, you also talk about posing. And I always remind you guys that posing goes hand in hand with directing. So we talk about posing and we also talk about directing. I always believe that a lot of photographers struggle with posing because they don't know or they haven't paid enough attention or time to learn how to direct their couples. So that's what we try to solve those problems here. So, and like I do every week, tonight we have a very great topic. Tonight we're going to talk about posing couples. 3 tips to posing couples. This is not a list of poses. There are tips that you can use tonight, tomorrow. So we need to start slow and we build up on that. So we're going to give you 3 major tips on posing couples. That's probably is going to change. Hopefully, it's going to change the way you pose forever, right? That's going to allow you to create better pictures. Your pictures are going to look nicer because people are well posed. But before I start, I have a very, very interesting 2 things to talk about. One was on a question that came through this afternoon, talking about what we deliver when you shoot, right? The question was, there is this bride of this photographer friend who is requesting the all files and also the raw files. A sticky point for every photographer. I mean, it should be a sticky point for you also, because here at Force by Clay, we do not give raw files. And 2 things: we don't give raw files, and the files that are not supposed to go out to the world, they never go out to the world, right? So we usually deliver in a wedding. We deliver about 100 images per hour, but we shoot way more. All of those images that never make the cut, nobody sees those images unless I'm using them as an educational tool. Then I will use one of them. But if there's a bad composition or bad lighting or closed eyes or whatever it is, nobody sees those images. So the answer to this question is no. We don't deliver, we don't give raw files, and no, brides, groom, engaged couples, high school senior, whatever it is you shoot, no, they're not going to see every single image. No, they will not. Okay, and that is made clear when they sign the contract. When we have our consultation, the language is, you are going to receive all the usable files, and who decides what is usable or not is me. It is my photography. I shot it, so I know what are the files that look better. We all are expert on what we do. So we need to guide that conversation so we don't get those kind of questions and put ourselves in a pinch. All right. So the answer is no. We don't do raw files, because the moment you give raw files, you're giving them the ability to edit that file any way they want and post online and tag you on that file. Now, if they do something wrong with that file, they're not supposed to be editing files. Why? Why clients want to do that? No. The moment that they post something that they have edited, it's not your work anymore. And they're gonna tag you, and if they did something that looks bad, that's what's gonna go to the world, right? People will see the image, they'll never know it was the client who edited that. So no, can they do that with JPEGs? Yes, they can. But I try to avoid as much as I can. So no, clients are not going to see raw files. Clients are going to see the usable files of the event that we shot, and that's pretty much it. It's end of conversation. We had that situation before where a groom was very extremely pushy about his receiving the raw files, to the point that I said, okay, you want the raw files, I'll sell the raw files to you. He said, great, how much is it? I said $20,000. And he's like, that's ridiculous. I said, yes, it is. It's like I have a car that I don't want to sell. You want to buy? You're going to pay my price, and that's going to cost you $20,000 if you want it. So end of the conversation right there. I didn't say. At that point, I had said no so many times. He kept pushing it. I just didn't want to say no. I'm like, give me 20 grand. I'll give it to you. Whatever. Right? So that's the way we deal with that. So that puts that to bed. Don't fall for that, because that's going to put you in trouble. All right. So one of the I posted a quiz today about what's the hardest thing about posing, and two questions I asked, right? So one was, what's hard is that you run out of ideas or you don't know how to direct. 100% of people answered they run out of ideas. So I kind of decided to change his life a little bit to be. We're going to talk about posing, but we're also going to address the fact that you guys are running out of ideas. Because one of the things, remember when you did the posing for women that I talked about, don't try to memorize poses, because you're never going to remember them. When you get on time, you're going to panic, you're going to blank out, you're not going to know what to do. You need to know what creates a good pose. Okay, and it's the same for men, it's the same for couples, same for kids, everything. All right. So that said, you need to ask yourself why you're running out of ideas. I believe that, because I've been there also, right? We get to a point where, oops, I don't know what to do anymore. I think what happens, that's how I made a change, the way I direct and pose. What happens is that we're trying to do too many things, too many poses, too many different poses at the same time. Okay, so what I mean by that is I don't think I said it right. What I mean by that is you need to go to one location, one scene, and explore and pose, and explore the pose as much as you can. You get to get everything out of that pose. Okay? And I'm going to show you examples of this. How do I do this? The way I do this is by changing small stuff. Don't think that you have to change the entire body, the entire situation, the entire pose to be a different pose. No, it's not. Right? I just move the hand, move the nose, move the chin, move the way they interact on the same place at the same time, right? Same place, same location, same couple, same thing, same basic pose. But make small changes. Don't try to change a lot. That's why you run out of, because you do one pose, you did one, and then you go, then kissing. Oh, now what am I gonna do? Right? You want to change the whole thing? No, there's a lot to be explored there, and I'm going to show you how I got like 19 poses of one single scene. All right. There's a question here: how many poses a photographer needs to know the least? This goes totally against what I just said, because you not. If you keep thinking how many poses, you're never going to learn to pose. You need to learn what makes a good pose and go from there. I don't know how many poses I know. I don't have a card that I keep looking at. Oh, pose number 1, pose number 2, pose number 36. No, that's not how it works, right? We're going to never learn amount of poses, because if you let's say if you learn 15 to let's say if you memorize 20 poses, so all your photo shoots are going to be just 20 poses. Everything is going to look the same all the time. Just think about this. Some couples will fit well with some poses, other couples will not. We face this every time we shoot. Some couples, you don't even need to pose them. You give them like a little bit of a direction and they just take off. And those are the ones that you're going to enjoy the most. Those are the ones you can take advantage of the most. In some couples, you have to pose every single piece. That's why it never works the way that you go like Okay, pose number one, pose number two, pose number three. Because that doesn't work. The way you pose somebody who is skinny is different from the way you pose with somebody who has a little bit more weight. The way you pose a couple that the same height is different from the way you pose a couple where the man is a little bit taller, right? So that's why those, pose cards, they don't work, because some people don't. Besides, are you going to be pulling cards on your photo shoot? Which kind of professional are you? Imagine if you're on a operation table and the doctor's like, how do I remove this? How do I cut to get to the femur? Right? I mean, no. The moment you look at that card, you missing the interaction with the pose. So stop thinking that you need to memorize poses, because that's not what it is. Okay, you need to know what makes a good pose, and then you go and you work on those things. All right. So going back to what I was saying, what I think is that you guys are trying to change a lot on the pose at the same time. Let me show you a sequence of images that I did of a walking shot. Okay, and I do this quite a lot, and each one of them comes different. The walking shots pretty much. This is an engaged couple who haven't shot the wedding yet. So it was in the engagement session. So they are over there. I give them directions, and directions needs to be clear, simple, right? So you guys, you're gonna walk this way towards me. I'm gonna be back there. You're gonna walk towards me, but I don't want you looking at the camera. Okay, and the walking is a slow walk. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And what I want you to do, I want you to look at each other. I want you guys to have a conversation. Look at each other, smile, right? So look to the sides. Don't look at the camera much. You can look at the camera once or twice and play with your hair. If you have hair, play with your hair. Man and woman, male and female. These are the directions that I give to them before they walk towards me. I just don't say, all right, guys, now you walk towards me. They're going to walk towards you looking at the camera. It's going to look not natural. It's not going to look natural, right? And then they're going to walk and you get boom, 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 boom. Okay, I got it. And you go somewhere else. No, I'm going to show you how many opportunities you missed on that one. Let's look at this sequence of images here. Right, let me find where they are. Where is my folder? 3 tips on posing couples. There you go. All right, I'm going to show you. This is a couple walking towards me, right? So this is where we started. Where is it? Hang in there, guys. Where do you go? You got mixed up here somewhere. Didn't copy. All right. That's where we started. Okay? I had just given them some directions. I still don't think that's the shot. I think that's the second one. Anyway, I just gave them some directions and walked over there. When I turn around, that's what I see. I take a shot. I measure my light. I also instruct the woman to always look in the direction of the light. So in this case, light is on my right side, camera right? So Dan is walking with the light, and she should be always looking at that side. So because she looks at the other side, I'm lighting the back of her head. So that's not. Remember what I told you a few lives back there. If you have to pick which one gets the better light, always the women. Okay, women have buying power. Okay, so that's number one. Boom, took that shot. They're looking at me, blah. Okay, and then they start walking towards me. They start walking towards me, still looking at each other, still talking. But now I have something different. Look, his legs bent, so they having a conversation, right? And I'm shooting, and I say, and I'm, giving them positive feedback. All right, keep walking towards me, and then they having a conversation. They stop and they keep talking. That's another pose right there. Same location. They're walking slowly and they stop. I give them the freedom to do what they want to do, so they can be themselves and everything looks natural. All right. So then they stop over there and they having a conversation, and then he looks at the flowers. Right. Let me go over here. All right, he looks at the flowers over there. He starts playing with the flowers. I think I killed him to do that. I don't remember. I may have said, look at the flowers, go there. But I'm not stopping the interaction, right? They're there. So she's looking at the flowers towards with him. And he is playing with the flowers. So he's smelling the flowers. Look at that. Same location. It's happening at the same time. Everything at the same time, right? So we did that too. So nothing stops. So he's bringing her towards the flower, right? I bring another one here. I think she smells the flower at some point. I don't think I have it here. No, it's not here. So, and then they kept walking, and I had instructed them to stop at some point halfway and give a kiss, and he stops. They stop halfway. I marked a point on the ground and said, around here, you're going to stop, right? So I need to know where the light is going to be. So they stop right there, and they keep talking. And I'm always saying, guys, you look great. Keep moving, keep talking. Looks gorgeous. And I go like kiss one hand. So he's kissing one of her hands, okay? Then we go back there, kiss the other hand. So he's kissing the other hand. Right, you see how the interaction is happening. Everything's looking natural. Everything is just because it feels natural to them, because I gave them that freedom from the beginning to do whatever they want to do. Okay, I just controlled a little bit and let them loose. So, and then after they kiss their hands, I asked them to get close. Where is the images? Where are the images? Let me see if it's down here. Yeah. Cool. So then they get close to each other. There. Right? Close to each other. And then we get a close. Keep getting closer. I think this is the same picture, right? Yeah, kiss. We're going to talk about kissing. All right? And then we have that one in there. And I'm shooting, okay? So I'm not, guys, when I say I'm shooting, I'm not going like pushing the button and pack, tack, 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 spraying and praying. So you spray and you pray that something is going to come out good. No, this is all planned. I'm shooting. As I'm seeing the change, I'm going pa, another shot. So at the end, I was counting when I was uploading this image to my phone. I was counting. It was like 19 different poses inside that same location on a little few feet walk. All right. But why? Why are you able to do that? Because we guide them to get there. You can't just go and say, guys, I'm going to be back here. You walk towards me. And that's it. So you see how much you're missing there? So first thing, instruct them how they're going to walk. Like, okay, guys, I'm going to go back through what I say like every time we're going to do a walking shot, right? I place them on a location. I measure my light. The light's going to be moving with them. Right, I measure my light, and whoever is handling my light, I just say, this is the distance that you need to be from them all the time. As they walk, you walk together with them, but this distance cannot change, right, to affect the light. So they're walking towards me, and I tell them, it's a slow walk, and I count. I go, what I'm telling you right now is exactly how I tell them. Guys, it's a slow walk. You can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so avoid looking at the camera. Bad again. Oh, I'm back. So avoid looking at the camera, right? Look at each other, look to the sides, and I always instruct the bride, if you're going to look to the side, always look to the side where the light is. Okay, and at this point here, and I mark a point on the ground, you guys are going to stop, you're going to look at each other, you're going to give me a slow kiss. Why am I asking for a slow kiss? That leads to my second tip on how to pose in couples, because an almost kiss is always better than the kiss. When some people kiss really good, but most people, when they kiss, the nose gets smashed, it gets messy. And I'm going to show you a almost kiss image, that this one, for instance, that's an almost kiss image. Of course, I'm going to let them kiss after that, but I'm going to go, okay, almost kiss, right? It always looks better than the real kiss, okay? And then when I get that picture, all right, guys, go ahead and kiss. It's not, I'm not stopping. I'm shooting, right? Camera's over here. I'm shooting. Okay, all right, almost kiss. Stop right there. Boom, boom. Okay, kiss, 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 kiss. And we take pictures of the kiss. And I'll tell you, 100% of the times, the almost kiss is always better than the kiss. Okay? So, tip number one, explore more of your scenes. Okay? Don't try to make it... good to see you, Mark. Don't try to create like different poses, completely different poses for every scene. When you are on a scene, explore that scene, explore the basics of that pose and just change a little bit. And I'm going to show you how I did that too with that couple. So that's number one. If you're going to do the kissing, almost kiss is always better than the real kiss. When people kiss, the face gets always smushed. So almost kiss is always better. Okay, let me show you now here. Connection. You always want to show connection. Every time you're shooting couples, if they're engaged, if they're married, if they're boy and girlfriend, whatever it is, you're always going to show connection. And how you show connection? Get those people close to each other, guys. Don't be afraid to tell them, get close, get close. I keep saying, amazing. I keep saying, get close, get close, get close all the time. Okay? So that's the one way to show connection, right? Get those people close. You're going to see every picture of my couples, they are very, very close together. Okay, so exploring the scene, all right? I'm going to show you a dip here, and I'm going to comment a little bit on this pose. That's the dip, all right? Not the greatest dip ever. I don't love that pose because I don't know how many times I told him, dude, it's a small step. Give a small step towards her, a small step. And he gave me like that big step, like once, twice, 3 times. I just said, okay, just let it happen. But that's one pose. Boom, right there. Same location. Then we zoom in. Same shot. Now, see, when I saw his leg, on the full body shot, when I saw what leg was doing, I cut it in half. Look, that's a much better pose, right? Do you guys think that's better? If you guys think that's better than the other one, hit that heart there. Let's see how many people think that pose is better than the other one. This one is better than actually that composition actually is better than this one, right? Oh, a lot of people don't agree with me. Huh. Oh, now I see the hearts coming. Okay, so all I did was to zoom in, right? I didn't zoom in. I walked towards them because I was at 7-200. I was already zoomed in at 200. If you have shot with me, I always like shooting when I'm at 7-200. I always like shooting with the 200. So I walked towards them to cut that, to change my composition, right? So we did this one. We did, there's a lot of pictures here, guys. We did this one, right, that I showed you. And then I just asked her, same pose, same thing. I just asked her to put her hand on his face. So 3 poses, same location, same thing, right? Nothing changed. The only thing that changed, one I changed my composition, and the other one, bring your hand over here, right? So I could have explored that even more, but that is how you stop running out of ideas when you pose, because you're not really changing the pose. You change the details here and there on the same pose. And what I want you to do in the next time you go shooting, I want you to explore that technique as much as you can, right? Guys, here's the thing. If you're shooting at 7-200, okay, you can start at 70, then you go halfway, zoom, 70, 135, 200, horizontal. Flip to vertical, 200, 135, 70. You have 6 shots, and they're going to look different because of the compression of the lenses. 6 shots, same pose. All you do is this little variation. Put your hand here, look at me, look at him look at you. She's looking at you, he's looking at her. You know, that type of stuff that makes you create a lot of poses on the same pose. So you're not changing the whole thing, because if you try to change the entire pose every single time, you're gonna run out of ideas. Yeah, that's a lot to remember. There's a question here. That lens when you was walking 24/7, 7200. 7200. I always shoot. I try to shoot as much as I can with the 7200. The only time I pull out my 2470 if I don't have room to use the 7200. But those sessions I usually done the entire session with the 7200. Okay. Once in a while I put a 100mm there to do close-up shots and eyelash shots and that type of stuff. All right, so let's recap it again. Tip number 1, get the most out of the poses, right? Tip number 2, closeness, get them close together. And there's a tip number 3 here that I want to show. This number 3 was the almost kiss, right? Don't work on the kissing. Always try to do the almost kiss. Get a shot. The almost kiss is always better than the real kissing. There's one that makes a whole difference. You guys want to hear that? Let me show you 2 images. Look at this image here. I want you to look at this image. I'm going to leave it a little bit, and I want you to look at this. This was also shot with a 7200, right? I'm all the way back there, zoomed all the way in at 200 to bring that background to create that compression, right? Do you guys like that image? Show a heart. Let me know if you guys like that image, because I want to show you something else. I like the image. It's a good image. I don't think anybody likes it. Just hit that heart there, guys, if you like it. Let me show you another image, right? And I want you to hit the heart if you think this one is better than the other one, because all we did over here was, oops, my timer. So now, same pose, same thing, everything. Is this one better than the other one? Hit that heart if you think that one is better than the other one. Let's see how many people think this one is much better than the other one. Yes, I can see the hearts coming. Thank you. Yeah. So what we're talking about here? We're talking about what we did on that pose. We brought them closer together, right? And then look at the tilt on her head. Look at the tilt. She tilted her head a little bit, just a little bit towards him. He tilted his head a little bit towards her. Exactly, they look way more connected. When you shoot an engagement session, when you shoot people who have a love relationship, you want to show that closeness. You want them together, right? So tilt the head towards him. He tilted his head just a tiny little bit towards her. And I'm going to show you another one that shows the same situation. This one here. Look, that's one pose. All right. Now, look how much different the other image is. Right? Do you see what's happening there? You see that image, they have a much bigger connection than the other one? Because just the fact that they tilt their heads towards each other. Now, when you do this, you got to be careful, because people will go like this, right? No, it's just a little tilt. And there's another thing with this one here. This is something that we learned throughout the years, guys. There's I never seen a book talking about this level of details. If you get a bride or a groom or a couple where one of them or two of them are heavier, it's going to be hard to put the heads together. Right? Makes sense? And it is your job to make it happen. You are the expert. They hired you. They don't need to know this. This is your job to fix it. The way you fix it, get them to lean towards each other from waist up. You're going to push the belly to the back. It's going to look smaller because it's going to be further from the camera. All right. And the heads are going to move closer together. Now you can put the heads towards each other. Just a little lean from waist up. Okay. So that's how you solve that problem, because if you have two people who are heavy, they're going to be far from each other. And those are hard to pose. Those are very hard to pose. And you know what? Posing is like you have to work with the couple. The way I do this, I always ask this question before my sessions. I always ask this question: Are you which kind of couples are you guys? You guys are couples who are cute together, so you like playing with each other, tickling, and being me, or you're more reserved and that type of stuff. Okay, if they say no, we like to joke around, we like to play with each other, we do very well together, that tells me at that point I'm gonna have to pose very, very little, because I'm going to go more on candid, because this couple can say, I can tell them, go ahead and do your thing. They will do cute things you're gonna shoot, right? Sometimes I just go there and adjust a little bit. Now, when you get a couple that say, no, we are awkward, then you know you're probably going to be posing all the time, right? So that's when your posing skills need to come up. But if you know that ahead of time, you go prepared. You already know, because you already know your poses, right? You know how to pose. So if you need to, but if you don't have to, don't pose if you don't have to. And a lot of times when I get couples who are really, really good together, I just let them do their own thing, and I just correct a little bit here and there, right? And every single pose will come much, much, much more natural. All right? So have that conversation with your couples. Talk to them, learn them as much as you can about them. You're going to see your sessions are going to end up with better results, and you're going to be much, much easier. And people who don't know how to pose, who are a little bit more uptight, they're going to thank you for directing them, so they don't have to do this thing by themselves. Because how many times do we hear people saying, oh, I like candid images, I prefer candid images, and you go, okay, go ahead and do your thing, and they go like, oh, what are you going to do? We don't know what to do, right? So now it's not candid anymore. Now you have to pose, okay? But you need to be prepared, all right? So one more thing that I want to talk very quickly here, because I'm running out of time. So we're talking about the tilt of the head. We're talking about exploring a pose the most that you can. So Ray is asking, what's the question? I asked them. The question goes like this: which kind of couple are you guys? Are you guys more of a couple that are more playful with each other, more relaxed? You go like, you tickle her and then she's pinching you, that type of stuff? Or you're more of a reserved couple, like being on yourselves? You don't want to say more awkward couple, but that's what really should be the question. But you don't want to say that. So, are you more reserved, or are you more like more cute, like playing along and that type of stuff? And depending on the answer, that's how you're going to guide your session. Okay. So we're talking about show connection, staying close, right? Tilt of the head. The tilt of the head, guys, makes a big difference. It looks like nothing, but it makes a huge difference. Okay, almost kiss. All right, almost kiss. And another thing, I used to be the type of photographer who was like a hand in your pocket type of thing. About a year ago, I changed that. Now every time I have couples, I want the guy to put hands on their woman, on his woman, right? I want hands on. I want like they all over each other. And I've been finding that I'm enjoying the pictures more and more. Okay, so the only time I do a hand in a pocket is when I'm doing like single shots, just guys and stuff, their hands in their pocket. And this this happened actually because I was shooting an Indian couple and engagement session, and guess what? They had the traditional outfit. They don't have pockets. So when I told them, put your hand in the pockets, like, I don't have pockets. Like, crap, what do I do now? Right? And I said, okay, put their hands on her, Very, because some cultures, they can't touch each other before the wedding. Anyway, You work through that, but you get the idea. But that's when I look at the picture. I like this much better than the hand in a pocket. Then I stop with the hand in a pocket stuff, right? One of the things that I totally like, it kills me when I see this beautiful image. They are kissing and the guy has the hand in a pocket, his pocket. You know what? You know what that tells me? I don't care about the kiss. I don't care. No, 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 no. You're showing connections, right? Closeness, tilt of the head, hands on a woman, man, hands on a man, show connection, keep close, hands on her, and I must kiss. Those are the things that you need to remember, right? And you go out there and start implementing these things, you're going to see how much better, how much easier it's going to be to pose. And really, take it. Take it to a next time you have a photo shoot. Try to do this instead of changing the pose completely. Just use those principles of posing that we talked about the other day, okay? And then change a little bit here, a little bit there. Change your composition, vertical, horizontal, right? You can usually do like the French tilt a little bit, okay? Don't do it too much. Looks like they're going to fall off the frame. Just a little bit of the tilt, the French tilt. So 70. If you shoot at 7, 200, 70, 135, 200, horizontal, vertical, 200, 135, 70. Okay, that will change the compression on the lens. You come up with a different picture. All right, and walk towards your couple. If you want the 200, put the 200 on. Walk towards your couple. Change your composition. Change little things. Look at me now. Keep the same pose, same base. Just look at me now. Now. The guy looks at you, she looks at him. Now she looks at you, he looks at her. Whisper something in her ear. Play with her hair, right? There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do there. You don't need to be running out of ideas when you're posing, and you are now because you try to change everything, and that's not the way you should go. All right, guys. I think that's all. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And I think that's all I have for tonight. This is a great topic. I love talking about posing. I love talking about photography, right? But thank you so very much for coming. We have a great attendance tonight. And if you have questions, send me a DM. I'm happy to answer them anytime. Okay? And don't forget, this live is going to be available on Instagram here in a few minutes. Also on our YouTube channel at Clay Souza Official, and also on our Facebook page at Clay Souza Official. If you would be kind enough, share that live with a friend who you think would benefit from what we talked about tonight, right? Guys, thank you so much, and I will see you on Wednesday, right? Bye.